Welcome to Was I Dreaming? The show that tests your ability to understand reality. I'm your host, Gabriel Barrison.
And I'm his co-host, Gabe's inner voice. Blah, blah, blah.
What's wrong? We're
doing a game show. You're gonna do that stupid voice the whole time?
Yup. On Was I Dreaming, we're gonna listen to the story of a memory and answer one simple question. Was it from a dream or waking life? Let's go to my dear friend, Mr. Rod Roddy, to explain what a fugue is.
Well, Gabe, in this podcast, a fugue is any temporary state you're in. This could be a dream you're having. We call that a dream fugue. It could also be the state of remembering an experience, and that would be a memory fugue. Makes sense? Back to you, Gabe.
Thank you, Rod.
Let's get this over with. Am I a judge or something? What's my role?
Funny you should ask that. You're the next contestant on Was I Dreaming?
Me? No.
You normally know all my memories, both in dreams and waking life.
But
for this episode, we've blocked you from this particular memory, and it will be up to you to answer the question, Was I Dreaming?
How did you block me from a memory? Is that even possible?
Never mind that. Now get ready for Dream Indecision 2024.
How about deal or no deal? I'll continue doing this stupid charade if you stop talking like an idiot game show host.
No deal. Let's get this fugue started. Was I Dreaming? I was in a kayak in the middle of a large body of water, and the fog was so thick I couldn't see anything more than 6 feet ahead of me or behind me, like being in an airplane going through a cloud bank. It was just wind, waves, and the sound of my own paddling. Sometimes I saw what seemed like the mirage of land and trees. I also saw other shapes in the fog, like creatures, or to quote Prince from When Doves Cry, animals that strike curious poses that I couldn't quite recognize. And as uncertain as I was about what any of those images were, I was never afraid of them. So, I paddled on. Well, inner voice, what do you think?
What do you mean, what do I think? It just started.
Come on, we're live.
No, we're not.
Okay, well, what do you think so far, though?
I'll tell you what I think when you stop the game show voice.
Fine. It was giving me a headache anyway.
So, I guess it was dreamlike. It's literally shrouded in fog.
Okay, here's a hint. Here's a hint. When you're in the dark, or if the surrounding environment is hard to identify, your mind hallucinates its best guess as to what's out there.
Reminds me of those long-distance lake swims we used to do in Maine.
Yeah. Deep, murky lake, and you can't see the bottom.
And humans don't exactly see well underwater.
Yeah, so any unknown moving shape always looks like sharks and crocodiles.
Sharks and crocodiles in a lake.
I never said it was logical.
Is that why you always keep your eyes shut?
Yep.
What a baby.
I get scared.
You are pretty physically vulnerable while swimming alone in a lake, so your body's in a light fear state. And fear triggers your mind to conjure images that are scary to you.
And in the absence of fear, in a scenario where we don't quite know what something is out there, the images we see are more benign.
And you were in a kayak.
I was less exposed, I felt safer, so I wasn't seeing any images that
made you scared.
Yeah. So when we say my eyes are playing tricks on me, it's really my brain playing tricks on me.
You can see how emotion influences imagination, which definitely happens in waking life.
But it happens in dreaming too. Your brain is literally building the environment as you experience it in a dream. So fear, or the absence of it, has the same impact.
Wasn't this supposed to help me?
Depends. Are you any closer to answering Was I Dreaming? So, I paddled on. Then, a new, more recognizable shape emerged. A A human man, far as I could tell from that distance. He was stranded on what looked like a paddle boat, so I sped up to approach him. He was a big guy. He was shirtless and without a life jacket. He had a long white beard and one of those bellies that, once it gets large enough, actually looks kind of cool, as opposed to a spare tire gut, which somehow looks worse, even though it's probably less of a cardiovascular risk. Anyway, he looked distressed, almost shell-shocked. His eyes were glazed over. And he wasn't on a paddle boat, he was on a capsized sailboat. For the record, I'm a pretty terrible sailor for a white guy. I tried sailing a few times when I was younger and I just tipped every time. At least I knew a thing or two about getting them back up. So, I called out to Sailor Santa.
Sir?
Was that the right greeting for this context?
Dude? Buddy?
How else do you address a panicked old guy in the middle of a lake cloud? I asked him point blank.
Are you okay?
But his expression didn't change. He just stared a hole through my face. I mean, I knew he could see me. Maybe he didn't speak English. So I asked again.
Do you need help?
Okay, now I'm leaning dream.
Dream? Really? How come?
There's a weirdness to dream characters. Sometimes they behave like NPCs.
NBCs?
Now, non-player characters.
Oh. Yeah.
You don't know what it means. Explain it.
You explain it.
It's an automated character in a video game that awaits prompts from the human player. This is often how dream characters behave, too.
Makes me think of this quote from Richard Linklater, writer-director of Waking Life, the best movie I ever saw about lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, the phenomenon of knowing when you're in a dream.
Didn't I say that?
No.
Anyway, Linklater describes the experience of becoming aware of the people in his dream.
Typically in that situation, once you're really cognizant of the fact you are perceiving a mental model and the people are dream people, they get real quiet because you sort of robbed them of their... It gets a little tricky at that point.
Stunned Santa was like this. Seemed like he was a phantom person. He never said one word.
That's true. He definitely seemed like an NBC.
NPCP.
He was just waiting for me to do something.
Maybe you weren't just dreaming, you were lucid dreaming.
Maybe. But you still gotta answer.
Was I dreaming?
So I asked again.
Do you need help?
Then I realized he must have been exhausted. He'd clearly attempted to right the ship numerous times and failed. Looks like I caught him in the middle of a break. It was hard to know how close to any kind of shoreline we were, so I can only assume he was stuck in a pride paradox now. Relieved to see me, but also annoyed he needed me. Despite receiving zero encouragement, I paddled over to his boat, tied my kayak to his, and hopped in the water. Do you make decisions in dreams? Because at some point, I had a choice to help Sailor Santa.
And you made one. You remember Jeff Warren's book, Head Trip?
Wicked underrated book, Head Trip, Adventures on the Wheel of Consciousness.
He took numerous field trips to Dr. Stephen LaBarge's lucid dreaming lab, and one of Dr. LaBarge's assistants reported that one of her favorite dream fugues wasn't one where she was lucid dreaming at all.
Oh yeah, in this particular dream fugue, she was at a coffee shop and someone stole money from her.
At first, she was indignant, and then she stopped herself and questioned her own reaction.
Right, she says she became more mindful in the moment, more compassionate.
She asked her dream thief in her dream fugue what she needed and how she could support her.
She paused and changed her behavior in a dream.
So in other words, you can stop and make a decision in a dream.
But sometimes you're just reactive, on autopilot.
Which is also the case in waking life.
Begs the question,
Was I dreaming?
As I swam to his boat, I watched him stare into the fog a while again. But this time he snapped out of it and slid off his sailboat into the lake right next to me. Without verbally confirming a plan of any kind, we both reached across the bottom of the boat, which faced the sky, leaned back and pulled until we could see the white sail floating just under the surface of the water. I put both feet on the centerboard and shifted all my weight onto it until it eventually flipped the whole boat upright. Santa wasted no time. As the wind pounded the mast, he climbed back on his boat. I barely had time to untie my kayak as he positioned the sail to catch the wind and ruddered his way right on out of there. It was like cleaning the dirt off a child's skin knee and sending him back to the playground. He didn't say a word. He didn't look back. He just disappeared back into the fog.
Is this the end of the fugue?
Yes.
Well, was I dreaming?
I'm leaning towards dreaming, but there's one thing. This whole environment on a lake, helping Santa with his boat, it never changed.
So?
Well, while you're awake, you're sitting in your living room staring at a plant, and when you look away and look back, the plant is still there.
Right.
But in a dream, you look away from the plant and look back.
It's a pineapple pizza, and you're sitting at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro.
What a nightmare.
The pineapple pizza?
Yeah. Anyway, you're sleeping, so there's no visual information coming in to keep the imagery consistent.
There's barely any sensory information coming in at all.
And throughout this fugue, weird as it was, the environment did stay
Anchored.
moored. So, is sensory input the major difference?
Between what?
Waking and dreaming.
I don't know. But is this going to change your final answer to
Was I dreaming?
Shut up already! There's this key brain system that helps generate our experience of the world.
Okay, what's it called?
The thalamocortical system.
Never mind.
There's a 1991 study where researchers investigated the neuroscience of dreams, and they concluded that this particular system is active, modeling the world all the time.
That
Cortical. Thalamocortical.
whatever. So what's so significant about that?
The all the time part.
Meaning?
That it's always creating some kind of model of the world.
And it's doing this regardless if it's during a dream fugue or a waking fugue.
Yes,
Even during dreams when there's barely any sensory information coming in.
right.
So that means that dreaming is actually the baseline state.
Yeah, we're always dreaming.
Like, even when we're awake, we're just
Dreaming with the lights on.
dreaming with the lights on.
Dreaming with the lights on.
Dreaming with the lights on. And then I woke up. So weird. I was hosting a podcast called Fugues, and my co-host was my inner voice. He sounds like this. And we were doing a stupid game show bit, and and there's this old overweight guy. Isn't that this guy?
Welcome back.
Am I dreaming?
You have to determine if you are dreaming right now. All you have to do is test your dream environment.
Test it how?
Have a look at the clock.
What
The
clock?
digital clock on the wall. Can you read the time?
I don't know. My eyesight feels off.
Or is it just unstable because your brain can't keep a steady image of a clock in your dream?
Oh, shit.
How about turning on a light?
Okay.
Are the lights coming on?
Doesn't seem to be.
Then you're probably dreaming.
Or the light bulb is out.
Make a decision.
If I'm dreaming, I guess I do have...
Free will? Find out.
Okay. Please fuck off.
You might very possibly be dreaming at this moment.
And then I woke up. Or...
You were awake.
Am I awake?
Yeah. I mean, no, for the Sailor Santa fugue. It was a memory from waking life. You know, not a dream.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Final answer?
Yes.
No, you have to say it.
Fuck you?
No.
Final answer.
Okay, tell him what he's won, Rod.
Thanks, Gabe. This Waking Life event took place in Long Pond, near Southwest Harbor in Maine, in the summer of 2005. And it's true, Sailor Santa never even said thank you in a voice. As our lucky winner, you get to choose from a prize showcase filled with nothing.
Shut up.
Was I? Am I? Yes, you probably are dreaming right now is brought to you by Fugues Media, all rights reserved. Fugues is written and produced by Gabriel Berezin. Script editing and audience voiceover by Monty Montan. Rod Roddy played by Michael Giese. Logo design by Justin Montan. Music composition by Grant Zubritsky. Have your pet spayed or neutered. See you in the next Dream Fugue.